Alright, so my audio should be coming through now. Sorry about that. I just noticed that my mic was not moving when I was talking. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and back up because everything I said you probably couldn't hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with base rating. Crew setups for a base raid. So as you can see, I have the augments set up in my ship. The augments are going to be your best bet for setting up a base raid. If you don't have any of the augments, I wouldn't worry about it. There are other officers that you can use in your base raids. But if you are past level 18 and you have been doing your augments, then you can definitely go ahead and start filling in Katie, Otto, and Joaquin. Those are probably going to be your starters that you're going to be starting with here. So right now I am using, let me put him back in the captain. I'm using Khan, his captain ability, because he's being boosted, is actually, that should be higher. Let me go ahead and confirm. Assign. Alright, so when attacking a station, Khan has 100% chances of drastically reducing the mitigation of all the opponent's ships and defense platforms for 2 rounds. Mitigation is something that not a lot of people understand. Mitigation is reducing the amount of damage that you would be taking. So he's going to stop that ability on the opponent. Then we have the Savage Tenacity, and every time the ship gets hit, or the ship is hit by a defense platform, he will increase your critical hit chances by 2%. So he is a great one. I have this guy right here, and when attacking a station, he decreases the weapon damage of all opponents' ships and defense platforms by 10%. And then I have Marla here, and she will increase the attack, defense, and health of the captain by 50%. By no means are these the OG crew base raid setup. These are just the officers I'm using. I can definitely go in and change them out for Otto or Katie. I don't really use the new augments. I haven't played around with them enough. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go back here, and we're going to go look for an unfortunate soul. Wow, it's just a party here. So I'm going to move. Let's see. Let's see who's in the system. There was somebody earlier, and I'm hoping he's still here, because he is one of the people that, the types of people that you have to look out for, meaning he plays a really good game. Good, Harper is here. So Harper is known on the server for not shielding. And he knows that he can get cracked, but he's always, waiting for that to happen. His idea when he's playing is he doesn't need to shield, because his game is so tight that if he does get attacked, he'll either repair or he'll shield. And what he'll do is, if it's going to take you a couple of cracks, he'll just keep repairing his ships and letting you suicide your ships, not really getting anywhere with it, which I'm going to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and move my Saladin down here. I always target off, because the moment you click on the base and click attack, they get a warning immediately. And depending on your travel time, that gives them enough time to put up a shield. Another thing people do is they will turn this into a Rialta and slam it against the base. And the reason they're doing that is they're testing the shield of that player. So let me go ahead and show you what they do, so I don't have to waste anything on Harper's base. And he won't get too upset with this. So I switched to a Rialta. And actually, I gotta move my base. Hey Don, how's it going? Thanks for joining the live stream tonight. Alright, so, like I said, I'm going to target off of his base. I'm going to click go. And then I'm going to click on his base, getting ready to attack it. You can see the timer counting down right here. It's going to give you an idea of how close you are, and then once you're like 1 second away, you can click attack. And so his bubble went up, or his shield. It's also known as a bubble. So what that is every player is going to have a 10-minute warning to shield up their base. If they don't shield up their base in that time, that temporary shield will come down so you can raid the base. And so within those 10 minutes, a lot of people will start cracking other bases. That tactic is kind of up in the air. Because what a lot of people do is their alliances will show up and they'll start defending the space. So you don't really want to attack a station in a hive unless you want to get a lot of attention. And a hive is basically a cluster of bases from the same alliance in star systems. So if we take a look at the battle report, let me see if I can get anything off. I don't think so because I just hit him with a Rialta. But one thing you can do with the battle report, so you can see he has a Saladin and a Legionary docked. And you can see the crew on each ship to get a general idea of what you're going up against. And he has a base with 4 weapons platforms. And it is not cracked at all. So you're really going to have to crack through all the ships first, and then the base. And I've done this. I've done this to Harper before, and it took a long time, even with my Saladin. It was definitely a difficult time because the Saladin has a ship ability that is pretty decent for base defense. Whenever the station or the USS Saladin gets attacked, it increases the shield health of all the ships and defense platforms by 36%. So, because he has his Saladin docked, his Saladin is increasing the shield health of everything in the base by so much percent. So that makes it really difficult in general. A couple of things to keep in mind. When they have ships docked, miners are always the last to get hit. So if you're going to put a base defense crew in your station, you want to have a couple of warships and you want to have a miner. Put the base defenders on your miner because they are going to last the longest and they will be able to have the most effect. Even if it's a weak miner, just remember that those miners are hit last. A lot of this, has to do with what are these numbers, how much have they upgraded their station defense, their research. Scopely, several months back, had dramatically increased base defense, and it kind of sucks how much they increased it to, but you just keep hitting a base until you can crack through it. And right now, I'm just waiting for Harper to come back online. And one thing you can do right here is you can look at your inbox. And 3 minutes. So only 3 minutes has passed since I hit his station. Which means, no, it's 4. Which means we have 6 minutes to go. So we're waiting on 6 minutes to go back in there and see what we can do. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and hit this AOD player. I went ahead and targeted him right away. Probably not the best idea. So that's pretty impressive base defense for a level 26 player. I gotta go back and... No, I shouldn't have to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the battle report. And Dunn says it is a much harder, but he likes the new way. And I agree. It gives you, it lets your starbase have a chance at least. Just keep in mind, if you are not shielded, your station will get popped. So this is a really good example right here. So as you guys can see, his Kumari was partially damaged right here. That's why this is missing right here. Looks like it might have been repairing, or he hadn't hit the repair button. So I took out all of his ships, and I almost got his station. Just a little bit. So I would need to go back with another warship before I can send in miners. And I'm hoping that his and see, he's there. So the reason I can tell is he's already repaired a battleship. So when you see that, when you look at a battle report and you see that all the ships you just cleared out, then all of a sudden one is back, they're online, they're paying attention, let it go, move on to another raid, which we're gonna do. Let's look at this one. Rocket Robbins. That might be a dead station. Let's look at it. So his station has repaired itself, which it will do normally over time. But let's go ahead and hit it, because this is going to be a good one for me to show you guys about rating the actual resources and how to tell when you're finished, or when the base is finished and you're at its protection limit and you can't get any more from it. Because I see a lot of people continually going back and forth trying to get more out of a base and it's at its protection limit. And Don says, because I can win a player that is level 40 with a good defense enough. That's true. That is, I mean, depending on your level, Don, that is going to be rare. So as you guys can see, his base didn't do much damage to my Saladin here, and my Saladin is full, so I know there's at least some resources in there. So I'm going to go back, and if you take a look at Harper, he still only has 2 ships there. Alright, so we are going to repair the Saladin. I'll be lucky if AOD doesn't come into the system and kick my butt. Because that's typically what they'll do. That's a really important thing to learn as well, and I think it's kind of like field experience of how you learn that. So let's say I'm raiding a base. All of a sudden their players start warping into the system, and they're trying to keep me from raiding that base. They might even try to start raiding me. Be prepared for that. Be prepared for those alliance stations to start to port in. So you really want to go and try to hunt down players that are trying to hide out in low-level systems, that there's no one around, And I really don't like bringing in a lot of my teammates in, because then the system is going to start flashing. And if somebody is monitoring their alliance and looking at a galactic view, they're like, we have a player in the system that's flashing red. What's going on there? Because there are several alliances that do that. So if it's just you raiding a base, that won't go off. So it really depends. If it's somebody you dislike and you're just trying to get as many resources out of them as possible, definitely invite the entire galaxy to that raid. And Don says that he's level 29, maxed out all the ship's experience for my Sally that I just got. So he just got his Saladin. Saladin is a very good ship. The Saladin is nice because it has a sting if somebody tries to attack it. So that ship ability I was telling you about, that applies to the Saladin out in the field. So if somebody does try to attack that Saladin, it is definitely going to be taking that damage. Hey Tamil, how's it going? He says, by the time I made it to FX, he left server 32. And he looks like he's just saying hi. And Tamil, I'm actually still really good friends with people in Psi, and I heard you guys have a little thing going on between FX and Psi, so that's interesting. And I love server 32. I think there's amazing people on server 32. I think initially what brought me back here is just my ships are so much more higher level. If I could go over to server 32 with this account, I definitely would. And ACPAC says, amazing base cracker. So, Harper's shields are down. Now remember, this guy is trying to trick me. He's trying to trick me to think that he's offline and for me to go in and wipe out these ships. And I know this because I fell for it one time. And I was like, oh, man. So, I'll feed into his thing a little bit here. So that I can share it with UFO, this video with UFO later on. So UFO, if you are watching this video, I actually did not attempt to attack Harper. He's just a really good example of things that can happen. But Harper this is actually going to be a pretty good battle report to kind of show you guys what that augment crew is capable of doing. Like, I'm going to get my butt kicked on this one. I already know it. But in this kind of situation where they have two heavily fortified ships in there, and you're like, man, I can't take them out in one crack, keep hitting them. If they're offline, keep hitting them until you crack that base. And that's what a lot of people are like. They're like, well, I don't understand. I can't get in there. I'm like, you got to keep trying. Like, keep on trying. Now, what sucks is, like, if they come online and they shield and you probably repaired your ship like 7 times, that's the gamble you are playing with. Okay, so let's look at this battle report here. Tamil, you're all good. So as you guys can see right here, I stripped the shielding from his legionary, and I didn't even crack it. He's got some really good base defense going on. And what is Scotty doing to the ship's hull health? Okay. So yeah, so right now it would take me, if I were to try to crack Harper, I would be bringing out my Centurion along with my Saladin, along with my Legionary, and I would go boom, 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 ship after ship after ship, because the reason you want to do that is once you hit him with that first ship, let's say something like what just happened, I stripped the shields and got a little bit of the hull. You immediately follow in with another ship, because those shields are still down and they are slowly repairing. So you want to take advantage of that time to go in and crack the hull immediately of that. So just keep that in mind, that does work, especially if you have a group of people and you're working in tandem, and you go boom, 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 and you can hit them all at the same time. What I hate to see is when I have a group of like 5 to 10 people at a base raid, and everyone's playing the nice game. I'm like, no, just get it. Go in, get it. Do not wait for it. Just go. That is the thing that can get a little irritating. So if you are, at a base raid with a group of people, I mean, don't be a jerk and just constantly hop on everyone and steal all the resources. Like, you might want to wait a second or two, but if no one's going after a second two, boom, boom, boom. Don't take 3 ships up there when you have a group of people. Take 1 miner. That's all you need. Let people rotate in and out of there. There is definitely a decorum, especially if it's not your base raid. Do not jump that base raid. And what I mean by that is, if you have a teammate and they just got done cracking a base and you just jump in there with your miner, that is a total like douche move to do to one of your teammates. You send them a message. You're like, hey, I just saw you crack that base. Do you mind if I get in? And typically they'll say no, because they want to get those resources out as soon as possible. But you always ask, especially when, I mean, it's a big thing for enemy alliances to do that to one another. And they definitely, definitely create some animosity. Yeah, Don says the guy has prime defenses up. Okay, so let's go back to the base where I can actually get a miner in, which is Rocket. Okay, he's got 8 minutes left on his shield. Come on, man. This has been really slow. Lots of delay in the game. Is everyone else feeling the delay in the game, or is it just me and my blue stacks? I don't know what's going on. I can't scan it because that shield is up. So I'm going to go ahead and manage, swap, and I'm going to do this one. Let's see. $974. Okay, good. And I always just go in and re-crack it before I send a miner in. So you can do something like this where you have ships like waiting right out here. I'm just doing it because I know he's not there, or I have a pretty good feeling. If you don't know somebody's there, you don't want to have ships right there. That's like saying, and waving a huge flag saying, hey, we're here to raid your base. Don't worry about it. Like, you want to stay in your base or just go over to the sun. Just stay in the sun, wait for that shield to come down. That always would irritate me when I'm cracking with people. I'm like, get away from the base. And Tamil says, lag has been much worse lately for him too. Yeah, and Don is saying he's feeling the lag as well. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. So is everyone excited for all of the Star Treks? I'm excited for the USS Discovery to basically jump to other systems and not have to warp and wait on that warp time, because I'm hoping that's what they're going to do with it. All right, so now his shield is down, and oh, we got some visitors. So I don't know what he's doing. Oh, he just did. He just did. On the live YouTube, Harper, what are you doing? He just did an ROE violation. Oh. So that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate for him. Wow. That's ROE violation. Caught on YouTube. I'll contact your leadership. So, as far as I understand the ROE, base defense. Base defense is something we have in our ROE. And, you did that. It gets a little bit in the gray. So, from what I understand it, if I'm attacking a base, oh shit. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. If you're attacking a base, it is basically you can defend your base, but base defense is bubbling up. Oh, poor Harper. It's basically bubbling up. You can take out the miners and the warships, I believe, in the system. However, since I was not rating, I don't know. I think it's going to get really cloudy. I don't even fully understand it. It's so convoluted. All right, well, you can take on my base if you want to, Harper. Hang on, guys. I got to... There. So that was, I was not expecting that at all. So that is definitely something that can happen during your base raid. That definitely threw me off. And I am assign officers. Okay. Have fun with that, Harper. So that is definitely something that can arise during your base raid. It sucks when it does, but it's just something that can happen. So now we have to go and actually, I'm going to do something slick on him. Relocate here just so I can show you guys this. All right. So you saw that it's 207,000. So I had a capacity on my miner of 974,000. It only filled up about 200,000 because that's all that was left. Come on. You can go ahead and hit me. Come on. Go ahead and hit me, Harper. I dare you. I am watching this very closely now because he really caught me off guard there. But so when you can't fill up your miner, that's it. There are no more resources to get. That base is empty. It is at its protected capacity, so nothing more can happen. I'm actually waiting for some UFO big players to port in and crack my base right now. Akpak says, "Uh-oh, Jansen brought out the evil laugh." Um, I, where are you going? Come on back. So, so that's a really great way to tell of when the raid is done. Now, a lot of people have gotten really creative with base defense, as you've seen right here in this video. And good kudos to Harper for definitely, giving a really good example of base defense. So I don't know how this is going to play out when he's going to claim this is base defense when I had just hit another alliance's base. No. Don says, Harper, no, he can't attack you. That's true. Our ships are probably equally matched out in the field. Mine's a little bit more strength, but he knows along with my base, he can't hit me right now. So I just think that was awesome that it happened in this video, and I think that's just the gist of base raiding, is really finding the time, really scouting the galaxy. One thing, I'm just gonna do a little hour here. One thing you can do is, let's do this. If you know you can't crack that base right now, but you want to come back to it, you can go ahead and hit the bookmark and say enemy. I'm just going to do this because it's going to be fun. And save that bookmark. And so then you can quickly revisit all of your bookmarks right here. And so you just can click on the coordinates. It'll take you so you can quickly scan the base and see if it's something that you can attack. And Don says, yes, me to see that happy so far. I have not seen that in my game. So that is definitely the gist of base raiding, is making sure you have a good crew. That is paramount. The crew is going to be incredibly important. Now, if you're in the game and you're like, you know what, I don't have any augments, what am I supposed to do? Get augments. Go and start running the augment missions and start mining data. And start going and trying to pick up those augment officers. Even at their base, they're actually really effective. Do your swarm for those con shards. Do that every Sunday, along with the other rewards that you get from it. And work on getting those augments. And once you do get those augments, they are going to make a very decent base raiding crew for your ship. Now, up until that point, if you don't have them, I'm trying to think of who I would use who's not epic. Because epic, I'm like, yeah, definitely Bone, Spock, and McCoy. Or, Bone, Spock, and Kirk. So, depending on the ship you have, I am, off the top of my head, trying to think of a decent crew. I would probably go with the cadets. Cadet Uhura as captain, Cadet McCoy, and maybe Kirk. Kirk's not my favorite, but possibly Kirk. It's a tough one. If you don't have, yeah, if you don't have them, I would say they're easy to get. The other beginning crew is definitely for NPCs, and it's not for PvP, which is why I'm pausing right now to think of a better crew. That's a starter crew for you. And Akpak says, now, not to poop on Concur or anything, but I found that on a Saladin, Gorkin as a captain, Kurla, Wolting work better for base cracking. That's a really good point to make. I run con crew on my Centurion. So, Akpak, are you talking about running multiple ships? That's what it sounds like to me. And then Tamil says it's different across servers, of course. Yeah, I think with each server has a different intensity to base rating, and it just really depends on where your server kind of falls in line with that. And your alliance is going to definitely help you a lot with that. So if you do have questions, reach out to them. And my best answer about beginning crews, there isn't really any decent beginning crew for PvP. Nothing that stands out to me, so I would definitely just work on those augments. And another thing is, because this video is for newer players, I'm not ever going to say don't raid bases. But at the same time, if you raid somebody's base and they're like, "Oh my god, blah blah blah," I would just ignore the message. Keep in mind you want to make friends. Friends in this game. Friends will take you a very long way. Saltiness and bitterness, it will land you in trouble. People will use it to get you banned. We've been having issues like that on server 12. And, other things like that. Alliances will remember those PMs you send to other players, because those players will share it in their discords. So just know that whatever you say to someone is going to get shared to a whole bunch of people, and is really going to set the impression for the type of player that you are. And they will track you. They will go ahead and block your name, so that whenever you change your name, they know who you are and what you're doing. So that's the only thing I really want to leave you with. And just so Tamil is saying on server 32, warships aren't protected by ROE at all. That's true. Makes for some interesting defenses. Alliances that have treaties with other alliances, much resistance rating on 32. And that is very true on server 32. Any warship can be blown up for any reason whatsoever. On server 12, which is this one, warships cannot be blown up. You can hit them if they're OPC. There's rules on events that you can't hit them while they're OPC while doing events. And their server 32 is much more of Wild Wild West than server 12 is. And then server 190 is further out into the west, and it's just anarchy all over the place. So it really just depends on where your server kind of ends up with everything. So, and then Akpak says on server 37, you can go all out aggression on AFK warships whenever you want. That's true. I had that happen to me on server 32. But other than that, if you guys do have questions about doing simple base raids, pop those down below. Make sure to click that like if you like the video, dislike if you dislike the video. Hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure to ring that bell for future notifications. I am actually going to be making a lot more Star Trek Fleet Command videos now. Now that we are actually getting a lot more content, I'm super excited for it, and I'm really curious where it's going to go. So, other than that, one other thing I do want to mention about base raids is you no longer get experience when you hit a base. So they changed that a while back. You may or may not know about that, but to earn experience on your ship, you can no longer just hit a base over and over and over again. However, you can crack a base, and if you crack that base, you do earn experience on that. So Thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks everyone in the chat tonight. It was a lively chat, and I definitely missed this lively chat. Definitely hit me up and let me know what you think of the channel. If you have any suggestions for videos, I would love to cover all that for you guys. But you guys have a good night, take care, and I will talk with you later.